pay for this? Who's going to make this right? Well, you know what goes around, it comes around. Hi, this is Barry Phillips, a 10-minute Torah, day number 3, a Torah portion, Mishpatim. I want to read a couple of verses here from Exodus or Shemot, chapter number 22, and probably spend 2 days on these couple of verses. Let's go down to verse number 5 and 6. When a man lets a field or a vineyard be grazed bare and lets loose his livestock, and it feeds in another man's field, he repays from the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. When fire breaks out and spreads to thorn bushes so that stacked grain or standing grain or the field is consumed, he who kindled the fire shall certainly repay. So while you and I may not have livestock to deal with, and while you and I may not have grain fields to deal with, not really being in a predominantly agricultural area at the moment, the principles still apply. We are to be held accountable for damages or losses that either we are the ones who caused or that it takes place on our watch. If a fellow believer, follow me here, if a fellow believer is accused of taking what belongs to someone else, the accusation doesn't make him guilty. The Torah teaches this, that he is to make a vow before Yud He Vav He that he did not take what was lost or stolen, and that he himself is innocent. Without witnesses, he cannot be found guilty. Without the lost item or stolen item found in his possession, or a witness that says he had it and he sold it to me, without that evidence, he cannot be found guilty. Now, we may look on the situation and we know down in our nowhere somewhere, this one is guilty, but they have made a vow before Yah that they are innocent. What are we to do? At this point, the matter belongs to Yah, and he will either vindicate the man as innocent, or at some point he will reveal that he is guilty. And because he is not only a thief, but also a deceiver and a liar, and especially a liar to Yah, then Yah will take care of it. Now here's where it gets problematic for you and me. When we put things in Yahweh's hands and we ask him to deal with it, what are we doing? We're asking for justice. I know someone, I know him extremely well, that was falsely accused. And the false accusation resulted in someone paying a price that they should not have paid. Now, the offending party that made the accusation knew that they were innocent and accused anyway. A false witness. If it was one time, it could have been swallowed a little easier, but seeing that this is an ongoing pattern of behavior, not just against one party, but over and again, defrauding people and using people for their own personal benefit or gain, I cried out. I cried out for vindication. I cried out for justice. I cried out for a lot of things. One of the things that I made a statement about this was, leave it alone. Yah will handle it in his time. And when the judgment comes, we probably will not even want to look on. It will not be something that we will gloat over. It will be that bad. Now, that could have been my anger quote unquote prophesying a potential judgment. I don't know. But I will say this, and I have used this phrase many times: judgment delayed is judgment intensified. If we go back to the story of Avram standing in the path between the bloody animals, the blood path, and the smoking oven and burning torch has just passed up and down between the path, and the vow is made to Avram from Yahweh: your descendants will go into Mitzrayim, they will be slaves there, and I will bring them out and restore them to this land. And one of the reasons that it was going to take hundreds of years, Yah says, because the sins of the Amorites are not yet full. Hundreds of years later, when the descendants of Abraham came to the land of inheritance, they were given the command, do not spare man, woman, or child, wipe them all out. There's a long list of reasons. It's another teaching as to why these people deserve genocide and to be completely wiped out. But one of the reasons would be that the sin level had come to the full. What does that mean? That means that Yah is finished with offering mercy. That means he has extended mercy over again and again and again, and it has been refused and been refused and been refused. And there is a point in time where Yah offers no more mercy. At that point, judgment comes. So for the Amorites, their time had come and they were worthy of being destroyed, completely destroyed. Oh, that Israel had actually done that. In cases that apply to ourselves, we know someone has offended us, robbed from us, lied about us, slandered us, whatever the situation is. And we know that it needs to be rectified. If evidence is not given and we are left with what we would say is no justice, and we say, Father, I put this in your hands, we then go over and pick up our phone for the next couple of hours and wait for someone to call and say, did you hear what happened to so-and-so? No, what? Feigning some kind of surprise. Well, it doesn't work that way. The one that wronged those that were close to me seems to have gotten off scot-free, no issues, no problems. There's a time, there's a place, and there is a situation where things will be made right. Them suffering and going through a horrible ordeal doesn't necessarily make anybody feel better. It doesn't restore what was lost to the innocent party. But Yah's got a way of dealing with things. He has a way of dealing with people. On our side, when justice is delivered and administered, do not gloat. For then we set ourselves up to receive the same judgment that has been meted out. When your enemy suffers, do not rejoice over it. Yeshua said to pray for them. Pray for them how? That they will accept mercy. Mercy is being offered to your enemies as well as to yourself. So when your enemy is offered mercy, pray, Yah, offer them mercy, offer them forgiveness, offer them restoration. If they refuse, then they will come to the full, and no more mercy will be given, and judgment will be administered. If they accept the mercy of Yah and they are therefore changed, they may or may not make things right with you. But then we should rejoice that our enemy has been changed, has been redeemed, has accepted mercy, and perhaps that will make the offense a little easier to deal with. One way or the other, ever how things are handled, whatever the result, you want to be righteous in your standing, and you want to be able to rejoice before the Most High, and however He chooses to deal with your loss. We'll deal with the rest of this verse tomorrow. And until then, shalom.